Sometimes a story starts out so normal, so relatable, that you don't see the turn coming. A birthday party, a late night drive with a friend. But then things start to unravel. Today, we're getting into a truly chilling story from Nagpur, India. It's about a road that maybe shouldn't have been there, and a phantom that could only be seen one way.
So how on earth does that happen? How can something be right in front of you, but completely invisible in its reflection? This single, terrifying paradox is what turns a regular night out into an absolute nightmare. Let's get into how these two friends stumbled into this.
All right, so it all starts with a guy named Arya. He's about to turn 21, and for his big birthday, all he wants is to get away from the city, Just a night of fun with his friends. And the perfect spot for this? His buddy Raj's farmhouse, way out in the middle of nowhere. The plan was simple, right? Get out of the city, head to this remote farmhouse where nobody can bother you, and just have a good time. So Arya and one of his friends hop on a bike and head out there early, planning to get there around 10:30 at night to get everything set up. It was supposed to be the start of a celebration, not a trip into something else entirely.
So they get there, they're waiting for everyone else to show up, and then it hits them. They're starving, and they didn't bring any food. With the rest of the party still hours away, they make a pretty simple call. Let's find a place nearby and grab some food. It sounds so logical, but this one decision would lead them down a path they were never, ever supposed to be on.
So they do what any of us would do. They pull out their phones, search Google Maps for a dhaba, that's a kind of roadside restaurant in India, and boom, one pops up just 3 kilometers away. It didn't have a name, no reviews, nothing. But hey, it was close. So they jump back on the bike and let the map guide them out into the dark. And here's where you get that first little feeling that something is off. They get to the spot on the map, and there's no restaurant, there's nothing. Just an empty piece of land right next to the jungle. A local guy who happened to be there told them, yeah, that place was torn down a while ago. The map just hadn't been updated. So the local guy points them in another direction. He says there's another, better dhaba, but it's another 10 kilometers away, deeper into the countryside on roads they've never seen. Well, they're hungry and they've got time to kill, so they take his advice, heading even further away from anything they know. Now, as they're driving down this dirt road, they come across a really strange scene. There's this small temple under a huge peepal tree, which in local folklore is often said to be a home for spirits. And the entire village is gathered outside in the middle of the night, chanting. But the prayer, it wasn't anything they recognized. It sounded odd, unsettling. But they were on a mission for food, so they just kept going. On the way back, with food finally in hand, the ceremony was over, so they got a better look at the temple. And inside, there was no statue of a god or a goddess they knew. The thing they were all praying to was just this crude, shapeless rock. So the question is, who or what was this entire village praying to? Okay, so let's break down the timing here. They leave the dhaba around 11:15 p.m. It should have been a 15-minute ride back, tops, but 11:30 comes and goes, then 11:45. By 5 minutes past midnight, they've been driving for almost an hour, and they are still on the exact same featureless dirt road. It just wouldn't end. It was like they were caught in a loop. It was right then that two things became terrifyingly clear. Their phones had zero signal, and they were completely, hopelessly lost. The road just seemed to stretch on forever, and that's when the real horror started. All of a sudden, their bike's headlight hits something up ahead. The road, it's just covered. Hundreds of small, dark birds are sitting silently in the dirt, completely blocking their way forward. As they get closer, the birds don't fly away. They rise up and they attack. And these weren't normal birds. They were about the size of crows, but their eyes were huge and glowing with this intense, menacing red light. They just swarmed the bike, pecking and clawing. The only thing that saved them from getting seriously hurt were their helmets and jackets. And right in the middle of this chaos, this swarm of attacking birds, they see a figure. It's an old man dressed in simple white clothes, just walking calmly down the road with a staff. The birds aren't touching him at all. They're swirling around him like he's not even there. For a split second, they think maybe he can help them. But then he turns his head. The old man had the exact same huge, glowing red eyes as the birds. Absolutely terrified, Arya just guns it to get past him.
And as he passes, he glances up at his rearview mirror, and the mirror shows an empty road. The man isn't there, but when he whips his head around to look back, the man is still standing right there, watching them go.
I mean, what do you even do at that point? Overwhelmed by this pure primal fear, they do the only thing they can think to do. Instinct just takes over, and both of them start shouting the Hanuman Chalisa, a famous Hindu prayer that's believed to protect you from evil. And unbelievably, it starts to work. The louder they chant, the more the birds just disappear. The old man with the red eyes is gone, and suddenly the road in front of them looks familiar again. The illusion was breaking, and at that exact second, their phone rings. It's their friend Raj, and that call just shatters whatever was left of the spell. Just 5 minutes later, they pull up to the farmhouse, completely shaken. They burst inside and just spill everything to Raj and the others who had shown up. The endless road, the birds with red eyes, the phantom man who was there and not there at the same time. And their friend's reaction? They laughed. They were totally skeptical. They told them it must have been a hallucination. You know, just their minds playing tricks on them on a dark, creepy road. They basically said they were just tired and freaking themselves out. But here is the final, most chilling piece of the puzzle. Later that night, around 3 a.m, the whole group decides to leave, and they all drive down that exact same road. And this time, the journey was completely normal. The road was just a road. The whole trip took, you guessed it, 15 minutes. No loops, no birds, no phantoms. So that's what we're left with. Was it just a shared hallucination? A trick of the mind brought on by fear and exhaustion? Or did Arya and his friend accidentally cross over into some other place? A place guarded by an ancient, unsettling power? What was real? And what was the nightmare on that haunted road in Nagpur?